Advances in digital technology have made it possible to imagine an existence that lingers beyond the boundaries of biological life, a phenomenon often called digital immortality. Through the persistence of social media profiles, the creation of lifelike avatars from someone's data, and visions of consciousness uploaded to machines, human beings confront a strange new possibility that the self, or some facsimile of it, might endure after physical death as information. This vision is at once exhilarating and unsettling, especially when set alongside ancient traditions that have shaped our understanding of mortality, resurrection, and the meaning of life. The encounter between these new technological possibilities and long-standing beliefs draws attention to fundamental questions about what it means to be human, what is essential for personal identity, and whether a digital continuation could ever fulfill the deepest aspirations and hopes of religious imagination. Religious traditions have long wrestled with death's finality and the longing for transcendence. In Christianity, for example, the promise of resurrection is not merely an escape from oblivion, it is a transformation, a reconstitution of body and soul into a life that transcends suffering, sin, and privation. St. Paul, in his letters, insists on the material reality of this resurrection. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body, 1 Corinthians 15 verse 44. Judaism, particularly in its later developments, shares expectations of bodily resurrection and the restoration of justice in a redeemed world. Islam likewise affirms a resurrection in which deeds are judged and spirits are given new bodies. Eastern traditions, while differing in their metaphysics, also hold profound reflections on the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, often emphasizing liberation from suffering and union with the Absolute. Technological visions of digital immortality, however, tend to dematerialize the person. They suggest that one's essence, perhaps understood as memories, personality traits, and patterns of behavior, can be captured, stored, and replicated in digital form, surviving the dissolution of the physical body. Companies now promise to preserve voices and texts, to build avatars trained on a person's corpus, and to enable ongoing interaction with loved ones after death. Philosophers such as Ray Kurzweil have speculated that advances in neuroscience and artificial intelligence may one day allow for the mind to be uploaded to a machine, preserving identity in a non-biological substrate. Yet such prospects raise profound challenges to both metaphysical and religious conceptions of the self. If an afterlife is conceived as continued relationship, a living communion with God, others, and the world, does a digital simulacrum fulfill that vision? Theologians have long argued that personhood is irreducibly embodied. Maurice Merleau-Ponty, though secular, contended that consciousness is inseparable from physical existence. The mind is not a software program that can be transferred from one machine to another, but is entwined with a particular history, a living community, and a unique, mortal flesh. The Christian conception of resurrection, for instance, is not about escaping the body, but about its transformation and fulfillment. A digital copy, however sophisticated, cannot suffer, hunger, love, or forgive in the way a human can. It lacks the vulnerability, the contingency, and the promise of renewal that lie at the heart of religious hope. There are also ethical and existential concerns. Traditional beliefs about afterlife provide not only comfort, but also a framework for moral responsibility and spiritual growth. The hope for resurrection is linked with justice, reconciliation, and the hope that suffering and evil are not ultimate. By contrast, digital immortality may entrench a kind of egoistic preservation, a refusal to let go, rooted in fear of non-existence. Hannah Arendt warned that attempts to establish immortality on Earth, detached from the cycle of birth and death, risk undermining both meaning and responsibility. In this sense, digital immortality can seem like a flattening of mystery, an attempt to make life perpetual rather than transformative. At the same time, the prospect of digital afterlives prompts a reconsideration of what elements are truly vital to personhood and continuity. If we can interact with a convincing digital version of a deceased loved one, do we extend them a kind of presence? Are some forms of love, memory, and relationship mediated through data no less real for being virtual? The philosopher Derek Parfit observed that personal identity might not be all or nothing. What matters for survival could be psychological continuity and connectedness. Some traditions, such as certain branches of Buddhism, also regard the self as a process rather than a fixed substance, an ever-changing flow of consciousness and memory. In this light, perhaps digital reconstructions provide a new, if partial, way to honor and remember, if not to truly continue. Still, even the most optimistic projections of digital afterlives raise questions about meaning and authenticity. If death is not a boundary but a transfer, does life lose its urgency, its poignancy, its call to compassion? The recognition of finitude has always pressed humans to ask ultimate questions, to seek wisdom and love, and to live with moral seriousness. Without death, or with its substitution by a kind of technological stasis, what becomes of the quest for transcendence and the cultivation of virtue? There is a genuine risk that digital immortality, far from liberating human beings, may diminish the very qualities that make human life precious. The encounter between digital immortality and traditional beliefs cannot be reduced to simple competition or replacement. Instead, it surfaces fundamental tensions between the desire for preservation and the deeper longing for transformation. Digital technology may change how we mourn, how we remember, and how we understand connection, but it cannot alone resolve the mysteries at the heart of existence. Religious traditions, for all their differences, ultimately point toward a hope that is not mere continuation, but profound renewal, of persons, of communities, and of the cosmos itself. It is there, in the acceptance of both mortality and transcendence, that the ultimate meaning of life and death still awaits discovery, untouched by algorithms and undiminished by the promise of endless replication.